Welcome to SVG-TV News for Friday, May 6th, 2022. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. Leader of the opposition, Dr. Godwin Friday, is expressing concern about the duty-free concessions being granted to the operators of the Richmond Quarry in North Leeward. The quarry project has sparked much public debate after it was discovered that farmers from Fitzhugh and Chateaubelair were to be displaced from their lands to allow the St. Lucian-owned company Renew Construction to mine the lands in the area. In Parliament on Thursday, Dr. Friday led off the debate on the motion concerning opposition to the development and operation of the quarry project. Dr. Friday said the St. Lucian company was receiving a steal of a deal in the agreement made with government.
Who have a chance and we have more time, Madam Speaker, can look through it and see there's a long list, 2 pages, 3 pages, of things that are exempted from all these duties. Ranging from big crane trucks and oil and paper and printing material and all that stuff. It's all listed there, Madam Speaker. But we go on. It says, a waiver of 100% of the value-added tax, import duties, excise duties, customs service charge on the importation of all spare parts for the plant and machinery, fuel, lubricants, explosives, and all other direct materials and supplies necessary for undertaking quarrying, crushing, and related operations. A waiver of the customs service charge. It goes on to say, Madam Speaker, that's not all. A waiver of export taxes and levies on the export of all quarry material from the Richmond Quarry. Madam Speaker, I mean, this is the kind of deal that in any language they will tell you it's a steal of a deal. It is too good to be true.
The opposition leader said the issue of the environmental impact assessment also needs to be addressed by government.
The assessment has to be specific to the project, which is why this environmental impact assessment that the minister came to this parliament and told us was done in relation to this project that is going ahead now cannot be used. And it was a misleading statement on the part of the minister to say that an environmental impact assessment was done, when in fact what he was relying on was something that was prepared for an entirely different organization called Carib Sand and Stone Limited and not for Renew Construction. And that it was done in 2008, so could not in any way address the proposals that were being put forward by Renew Construction. So that was a false statement on the part of the minister.
Minister of Local Government, Energy and Seaports, Senator Julian Francis, is questioning the opposition's stance on the quarry project at Richmond in his contribution to the debate of a motion put forward by the opposition calling for a halt to the quarry project. Senator Francis claims that in the past, parliamentary representatives of the New Democratic Party never showed any disapproval for the project and questioned why the objection now.
Discussion on the quarry existed in this House of Assembly since between 2010 and 2015. Every time I raised the matter of a development of the quarry in Richmond, the parliamentary representative for the NDP in North Leeward gave favorable approval of what I was saying. There was no dissenting voice ever in the discussion. We had it during about 4 budget debates continuously. When did they change their mind? 2020 elections. That's when the mind of the NDP changed. 2020 elections. They didn't mind us developing a quarry. They didn't mind us going through it because they were so confident that they were going to win the election and that they will have the quarry to manage and get the benefits for the country on the NDP ticket.
Francis said the Physical Planning and Development Board approved a government-owned quarry in the Richmond area since 2008, and an impact assessment was also done.
Making a quarry at Richmond was approved in 2008 by the Physical Planning and Development Board. A quarry was approved, not Renault, not Carib Sand and Stone, The government owned an asset called a quarry, approved by the Physical Planning and Development Board. And I heard the leader of the opposition say, it's not the same. Madam Speaker, he says that he has a copy of the Reno document. And on pages 7 and 8, write down, if you see the lot numbers, if you look at the lot numbers, those of you who plan to get up and speak, go through it. They are the identical lots. So the physical land space where this impact assessment was done is the same physical land space.
The continued delays in the completion of the Arroot factory at Orange Hill is forcing government to consider a second compensation payment to farmers who still have not resumed production. Minister of Agriculture, Saboto Caesar, who was questioned on the new factory during Thursday's sitting of Parliament, said the eruption of La Soufrière volcano posed a significant setback to the completion of the factory, which was originally scheduled for late 2021. Minister Caesar said government gave a 75% compensation to farmers in the amount of $630,000, and paperwork is being drafted by the ministry to offer additional compensatory payments, which will be decided at the cabinet level.
A cabinet memo is being drafted to bring a proposal to the cabinet. It will be sent for legal and financial implications tomorrow, because we are now in the second year whereby persons have not been able to sell their rhizomes. The total value that we are looking at a 50% compensation this time is $852,000. And has to be sent on now to finance.
Minister Caesar said construction work on the new factory is expected to resume within the next 3 months, adding the company which will carry out the work has filed insurance claims to replace equipment that were damaged from ashfall during the eruption.
The estimates of revenue and expenditure 2022 allocated $4 million to the project, the grant of $2 million and local the same amount, and the project is expected to be restarted in approximately 3 months. The new Indian commissioner, Mr. Shankar, visited St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the Arroot factory site in December of 2021. And the ambassador indicated the possibility of additional assistance to address the setbacks.
Government has said they will offer financial assistance to the families of the deceased crew members of the MV Fairchance only if a formal request is made through the Office of the Prime Minister. The MV Fairchance, St. Vincent and the Grenadines registered cargo vessel, encountered difficulties in the waters between Trinidad and Grenada on April 2nd. The vessel overturned, resulting in the death of 5 out of the 7 crew members. 4 are residents of Union Island. 3 of the bodies were recovered on April 20th. The body of the Captain Dexter Chance is yet to be recovered. Parliamentary representative for the Southern Grenadines, Terence Oliver, posed a question from the floor of Parliament on Thursday, querying if financial assistance will be given to the families to help return the bodies to SVG. In response to the question, Minister of Energy, Seaports and Grenadines Affairs, Senator Julian Francis, said assistance is only activated upon request from the families.
Sir, persons need help. There are systems, as Prime Minister took pains to explain this morning, the systems that we have in place with regards to fires. In a case like this, and the Honourable Member for the Southern Grenadines has been around long enough to know that these systems do exist, but they have to be accessed. The government just can't offer assistance because it is the family in distress? Do they have the resources to do it themselves? It is not for us to just say, well, 4 people died at sea, therefore don't bother, the government will pay to bring the bodies home for the funeral. Somebody from the family has to indicate, and I would expect that it will come best through the parliamentary representative for the area, who will then find the access route to where the resources are.
Minister Francis said he estimates that the money required to return the bodies will be a hefty sum.
This naturally will be a fairly hefty sum involved, and my advice to the rep for Southern Grenadines is to make contact through Prime Minister's Secretary at the Prime Minister's office for those families. It does not mean that all of them have to get it. Some may have the resources to do it, some may have some sort of insurance, some may have somebody else who has a boat or special facility to be able to get them home cheaper, as the case may be.
Bat faces brought the proceedings of Parliament to a halt on Thursday night while members were in the middle of a heated debate. What was supposed to be a 3-hour debate on the motion concerning opposition to the development and operation of the Richmond Quarry project was cut short when the Speaker of the House, Rochelle Ford, alerted the clerk that there was an issue with something on her desk. At around 8:30 p.m., opposition member of Parliament Daniel Cummins was making his contributions to the debate when Government Senator Julian Francis rose on a point of order, requesting that Cummins withdraw the statement made about government's motives for establishing the quarry. As the Speaker of the House tried to calm the shouting match between the 2 MPs, she wiped something off from her hands and then requested the clerk to come to her desk.
Member, you're going to...
Will you shut him out?
Honorable members.
You can't talk on this.
Just give me a minute, okay? On an unrelated matter. Madam Clerk, 1 minute, please.
The Speaker is speaking. Listen.
Honorable members, I need 1 minute, please, on an unrelated matter for me to confer with the clerk. I'm going to ask, Honorable Member for West Kingston, I have stopped your time. I'm going to ask API to take the cameras down and put a halt on the live feed for a moment, please.
After the live stream was cut, the Speaker reportedly informed the members that a bat had defecated on the standing orders. The Ministry of Education and National Reconciliation on Thursday recognized the authors of the Right to Read competition. The competition was held in 2017 as part of the OECS USAID Early Learners Program. The winners of the competition were announced in 2019 and the books were presented at Thursday's ceremony for the Right to Read book launch at the National Library in Kingston.
A busy market on a Saturday morning. It was a busy Saturday morning at the market. There were people buzzing around like bees. The persons in the selling stalls had on aprons that looked like they have been worn many times. There were persons sweeping, dusting, and pulling carts. Dust flew in the air as an old lady pulled out the spices out of a huge black bag. The sound of the hard broom bristles scraping the floor and persons talking and children crying and screaming poured into my ears. There were persons shouting and cursing over the silliest of things. There were pans clattering, seeds, dry peas and beans making noise as they were being poured into the tin cans and bottles. The smell of spices and dust tickled my nose, making me want to sneeze and cough. The unpleasant smell of chlorine and body odor was quickly overpowered by the smell of perfume from one of the stalls that was obstructed by the smell of the stink garbage bin. It smelled like an animal had died in it. I'd stopped focusing on the smell when I nearly slipped on the wet floor that was just marked by an employee walking in one of the mini shops. Feeling compelled, I guided my hand across one of the stalls, feeling the coldness of the pot and the roughness of the yam roots. What a busy day this Saturday, I said to my mom.
In an effort to encourage parents and children to become better and more involved readers, Cultural Ambassador Hans John took the time at the ceremony to encourage persons to take advantage of the services available at the library.
The library has the after-school program where tutors are involved in the different subject areas, where students will come and they can get help, whether it might be homework, assignments, the SB and so forth. And this want us to really pay close attention to all these services being offered by the library and how we can connect with the ELP and the authors. I would definitely like to share some of the work done here that is being published, and I'm looking forward to it, especially for my story time.
John, who reads to children at the library, said that he is excited to add the books to his story time session at the library.
Exciting evening for all of us here, and it's also a historical moment for us, and it's something that will be embedded in my heart going forward as the reading ambassador. And Miss King would have shed some light on the small number of local authors that we have, and I must commend the authors for really taking up this task. But it's something that is a great project, and I do hope that we could work hand in hand and to really move forward and to really get more of these authors and books in the school across St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It is much needed in terms of our educational system, in terms of learning about cultural preservation. It's a great feeling, and I'm very proud to know that the authors have, put pen to paper, so to speak, and bring, things to life.
A number of items were handed over on Thursday to the Ministry of Agriculture, the Forestry Services and the Central Water and Sewage Authority. The items were provided under the UNDP Ridge to Reef project and the UNEP Integrated Water, Land and Ecosystem Management in Caribbean Small Island Developing State Initiative. Project coordinator DeAndre DeFreitas said the items, which include computers, field laptops and drones, will assist with the preservation of the ecosystem.
Equipment here, 6 computers for the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries, Rural Transformation, Industry and Labour, 2 computers to the Forestry Department, 2 dump trucks to the Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry, 1 desktop and 2 field laptops to the Central Water and Sewage Authority, as well as some water tank connections over at the nursery, which we'll visit after our presentation here today, to encourage rainwater harvesting. Our stakeholders receiving these items would not only be armed with the necessary equipment, but utilize them to assist with the preservation of our ecosystem services. For sure, this will not be the last highlight of the project endeavors, as our next steps focuses mostly on bolstering policy frameworks and assessment work with stakeholders such as National Parks, Rivers, Beaches Authority, Fisheries Division, Union Island Environmental Alliance, and several others. We thank you for your support and the project. With an expectant outlook, anticipates your dedication to fulfilling a successful project.
Cluster Head of Sustainable Solutions, Energy and Climate Change, Mohammed Najdi, said the donation of the equipment is vital to help build capacity.
and they can only be done once the equipment is there, the technology is available. And without that availability, it makes it ever so much more challenging. And I know that P.S. Gittins, who's my very, very good friend, she would have mentioned on the way here that, you know, she felt that she had to beg for this equipment. And I wanted to know that was never the case. You know, UNDP and myself are here to support not just the ministry, but the government, and the UNDP on a whole is really here to support development challenges and capacities of countries to ensure that not just with respect to climate change, but all of the challenges that are being faced, all the needs that have to be met, we are here to also support that. So it wasn't a beg, it was actually an opportunity for us. And seeing all the equipment, I actually forgot about the drones. You know, to be honest, when I came here, and that's how long ago the drones were donated, the computer systems were donated. We have another truck that's going to come here. And then we also have the Sargassum project, where with the government of Japan, we're going to have about $2 million to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, to the ministry for a series of Sargassum collection equipment, both in the near shore and also on the beach. And that's a project that's going about to take off.
The Rich to Reef project focuses on biodiversity conservation and land degradation, while the IWECO project emphasizes the importance of the integration of water, land, and ecosystem in small island developments.
Well, I think everybody in here is well aware of the challenges that we face as a result of climate change. And I think that two key points that we are always cognizant of is the impact for St. Vincent and the Grenadines and other islands throughout the region, being that of hurricanes and storms increasing in their intensity, but also concurrently the projections of having longer periods of intense drought, and both of which have a very harsh impact on the agricultural and food security sector for countries. So as far as UNDP is concerned, it was a fantastic opportunity to be able to donate equipment on a whole to the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries, Rural Transformation, Industry and Labor.
The theft of electronic devices is one of the most trending crime around Kingstown in recent times. Speaking on a program on VC3, Assistant Superintendent of Police Elwin Richards said that this crime is mainly committed by persons between the age group 15 to 40.
That he interject, that he mentioned theft, but I want to emphasize the point that the theft of electronic devices is skyrocketing. So that's I just wanted to get that out. So cell phones and tablets.
Yeah, I was saying we have varied ages. People have varied ages and so forth. We have mostly people between 15 and 40, majority of those are where you find the ages, young people, that is committing the offenses of theft. And they're doing it in all way. They're doing it to probably sometimes to sustain a habit. They're doing it to survive. They're doing it because they just like doing it. And while the opportunity presents itself, they're doing it.
Richard said one of the main hotspots of these activities is at the bus terminal in Stony Grounds next to the massive supermarket. He said officers have been placed in the area to deal with the matter.
What we're doing to kind of prevent these things, we do our patrols in the hot areas. You find around Friday evenings, you find Massey right up the road there. You find Arnisville, and the other, just before roundabout that area, they have a lot of people. So you find a lot of offenses would be committed in these areas as well. Yeah, people pickpockets and these kind of things. And so, well, we have police placed in these areas. No, we've seen that it's become a problem, and so we have placed officers in these areas so as to try to navigate it.
With Carnival around the corner, the RSVG Police Force will be hosting its annual crime prevention exhibition on July 1st, which will be held in front of the Central Police Station in capital Kingstown. Head of CID Claston Francis said the force has been successful in sensitizing the public on crime through the exhibition and other activities, which have resulted in a reduction in crime island-wide.
Due to the pandemic, we have more or less slowed down our community policing efforts. But prior to that, we had a lot of activities from CID, mainly in Kingstown, while we were doing our crime prevention showcase. We usually have crime prevention activities at certain times of the year, where we'll go around into the community, we distribute food baskets, we interact with persons in their homes, we distribute flyers, and we share tips as to how to encourage them how to protect themselves and their property. And it has been successful. I can assure you that, because we have seen a reduction in the number of burglaries and pickpockets around Kingston and the other areas. So it has been fairly successful.